Hi everyone. Been a while. Welcome aboard a Type 21. Kind of forget our number here. U3008. So I thought I'd make a video late war, obviously, since I'm in the Type 21. And I just thought maybe I'd showcase some of the torpedoes you have access to later in the game. So I usually start in 1939 and sort of just see how long I can survive. Um, and how far I can make it into the war, what upgrades I can get, whatever. But the problem with that is you don't really get a lot of the cool upgrades and torpedoes until like 1942 onward. So um, it is summer of 1944. We are in Bergen, Norway, in a Type 21, and as you can see, we've got um, two acoustic homing torpedoes, and these white tip torpedoes are the fat torpedoes, which use a ladder search pattern. Um, what we're going to look for is, as you can see, well, I haven't plotted a complete course, but we're just plotting a course out of Norway, and I'd like to hit um, an Allied convoy on the way to the Soviet Union. So we'll be probably hanging out in this area, maybe south of this, north of Tromsø, and see if we can find a convoy, and I will throw some of those fat torpedoes at them and kind of show you what these are capable of. By the way, I'm on 85% realism for this. I've enabled map contact updates, obviously, and the external camera, as well as disabling the periscope bobbing, just because I want a clear view of all this. And I don't know, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between 100% realism and 85 in terms of like just showcasing convoy attacks and also tutorials. I don't know. I'd like to stick to 100%, but 85% seems to be a lot more user friendly. So if you have an opinion, feel free to let me know, but I'll probably stick to 85% more often than not, I think. So one problem I've run into this far north, we're now in the patrol area that I outlined earlier, but one thing I've noticed is since it's July and it's this far north, um, we never really get any true darkness up here. So I can't really snorkel to recharge my batteries at night. I know the snorkel has like, I think on the Type 21 it has a radar warning receiver, but basically it's gonna be more dangerous to snorkel, at least that's my understanding, than it would be to recharge our batteries on the surface. So, um, if any of you are like seasoned veterans and you play the Type 21, you're thinking, why isn't this guy snorkeling? Well, I just don't think it's prudent to snorkel in the daylight, so we'll be using our radar at night, and well, I say night, but it'll be daylight. And we'll just stay up as long as we need to charge batteries and crash dive if our radar picks up anything. So that's an unfortunate um, aspect for the next like month or so, I guess, that we'll have to deal with. But interesting. I don't normally hunt this far north, so that's an issue that you'll run into at higher latitudes. By the way, this is kind of what we're looking at here. So north of Norway in this little pass, I've set up a pretty extensive like pre-plotted patrol grid. So we'll spend like a couple weeks in this area, I guess, and if we don't see anything, we will move on. Alright, so it is August 4th. I just received a radio report, and kind of lucky that we did. We're just hanging out at periscope depth so we can get radio reports. There's a convoy approaching us, and we would have heard these guys whether we got this radio report or not, but they are approaching from our baffles. As you can see, we're heading due west, and they are reported to be almost directly east of us, so kind of a good thing we got this. While they're super far away, I'm just gonna ping here, see how deep it is. It should be quite deep anyway.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Tiefe unter Kiel ist
440, yeah, we shouldn't have
440.
any issues evading. Um, oh my. It's quite a storm out there. Just my luck. So, Yeah, I will use these fat torpedoes. It's gonna be kind of hard to see anything, obviously, with that storm, but I guess that's the good thing about using map contact updates, and we'll still be able to observe this regardless. Who knows, maybe it'll look good. But I would have liked to do this in clear conditions. Then again, it's like always daylight this far north, so they'll be able to see our trails of the G7As. So I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, the storm. Anyway, they are going 8 knots, so let's just put that in our TDC right now. We can verify that later if we want to, but it's going to be hard enough just to make visual contact with these guys, uh, let alone accurately measure their speed. So 8 knots, west-southwest is roughly 248 degrees, I guess. And we will listen for them. We should be able to hear them about 30 kilometers away, so it really shouldn't be long. Make a line kind of like that, and I'll just turn us around, I guess.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 9-0.
Might as well go into silent running right now.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Schleichfahrt.
And our batteries and oxygen are good. We just dove down not too long ago. 4 a.m. It's now 8. Local time is 9 a.m. And yeah, I think we're ready for this. So I'll update you once we have sound contact on the hydrophones. Another thing with these videos, I'm thinking I should kind of change my sound settings. I've kind of watched them back on YouTube, and what I hear on the hydrophone seems to be pretty different from what you guys can hear. Like, there's the Convoy right there. It's crystal clear to me. I mean, as crystal clear as it can be on these, but yeah, I apologize if you can't really make that out. Actually, that sounds like there's a carrier in there. There's something big in the middle. There's a capital ship. It's, well, either a capital ship or an escort carrier. Usually that high-pitched whine is like an escort carrier, and an actual capital ship will be a lot more, like, you'll know it's a capital ship. Anyway, they're at about 348 relative bearing. And, yeah, like 91 or 92. Probably about 30. Yeah, so this estimate line is probably pretty accurate. They might be on a course a little bit further south than that. I'm just going to turn us southeast, and we'll wait for the map contact updates to kick in.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 134.
And it's still storming. Okay, so it actually hasn't been long, and we're starting to pick them up now. Nearest warship contact would be which? I kind of want to figure out which is the lead destroyer. It's saying 317, so yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd buy that. We'll say it's more like a course like this. Maybe 256, 257 degrees. And we'll make a parallel course to that. So since it's storming out like this, what I like to do when I know a convoy's course and speed, you can get away with firing super far away, like 7, 8, 9 kilometers away, and just use G7As on the slow setting, because you're not going to make visual contact anyway. The best you can do is use the hydrophones. But it looks like, as you can see, this outer flank escort here is way the hell out there. Like, he's 4 or 5 kilometers away north of the convoy, so we're kind of already in the middle of it. We can't really back off to a safe distance. I'll just set up for a 90-degree angle with this, which is going to be...
Kontakt, Frachter, kommt näher auf 318. Große Entfernung.
I'll call it 167.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 166.
So 90 degrees to starboard. There, we've got 8 knots in, and we should be all set. Well, on the bright side, at this close of a range, we might actually get to use the ladder pattern on the T3 fats, so, well, we'll see how this goes. Alright, so they are much closer now. I've just kind of set us up and stopped us, dropped down to 24 meters until they get a little closer. In fact, can we open our tubes at this depth? Oh, we can. Yeah, I might not even go to periscope depth, and I'm just strictly gonna blind fire by listening on the hydrophones, I think. Because we're gonna be using the ladder pattern anyway, so it's not gonna be super accurate. I would like to hit the center of the convoy though, because I've been listening and let's see here. Yeah. Like that sounds like something big. I don't know if it's like a fleet carrier or what. Definitely some kind of carrier, but like it sounds bigger than your average escort. So whatever's like in the middle of this, we'll try to hit it. So I'm gonna set up the fats right now. We are still kind of, I don't know if it's like my screen or what, but like 90 degrees does not look like 90 degrees on my screen. This does not look like a perpendicular line, but I think I've got everything set up properly. Anyway, looks like to the center of the convoy is gonna be pretty darn close to this line. So when you're using fat torpedoes, you have to, okay, so it's about 3 kilometers-ish. We'll call our straight run like 3,300 meters. So how you set it up basically is tubes 3 and 4 are our G7As. They have longer range, and 5 and 6 are the G7Es, 5 kilometer range. So if I go to my long range, I'm on slow. I'm going to go to impact for all these torpedoes, even tubes 1 and 2. And you hit this little fat button at the top. So the first thing you have to do is figure out how long your straight run is going to be. We're probably going to be firing when they're at about 345 relative bearing, so I'll just point my periscope there. Yeah, so we're going to call the straight run about 3,200 meters. Okay, so it'll run straight 3,200 meters. After that, it's going to follow this pattern if I don't do anything, if I don't change anything to the settings. So say we miss, it's going to circle back around, and it's going to keep searching. We can also increase, like there's a full dial here for the leg, but there's really only 2 settings. There's 800 meter legs or 1600 meter legs, and all that's doing is increasing the length that it goes until it turns around. The other thing we can change is you can see it'll always follow your torpedo solution, the legs, but if you change the pattern angle from 90 to 270, or sorry, no, it's the second gyro angle. If I change it from 90 starboard to 90 port, it just goes in the other direction. So I haven't really figured out which is better. The default's this way so far. That means if it misses, it's going to come around and the ship's still moving. So you got to think, do I want my torpedo, if it misses, to just go for the further back ships this way, like that? Or do I want it to, keep going forward and potentially hit the same ship? So it kind of depends how fast the convoy is going. I like to do one at 90 starboard, and I like to do one at, so here's tube 4. I'll do 90 to port on this one. So basically this torpedo is going to go that way, this torpedo is going to go that way. I'll change the straight run to 3,200 on this one as well. And I'm going to do the long leg just because I don't really know how far apart these guys are. I don't know how far away they're going to be. We're not making visual contact, so I just want really long legs and, cover as much area as I can. Now, when I go over to the electric here, oh, by the way, since it's really rough seas, I'm going to set the depth to about, I guess, 2.5 meters on all of these torpedoes. Now the G7Es, I'm gonna do a shorter straight run, and well, I'll keep it at about 2,500, and the shorter leg also, because you've got to keep in mind they only have 5 kilometers of range. So if they're doing a straight run of 2,500 meters and each leg is 800, they're not going to do much searching. So we'll just shoot those at kind of the closer range targets. We'll leave that as is. And then tubes 1 and 2 we'll just fire off kind of however we see fit. But we'll start off by using the G7As and try to hit the center of the convoy with them. Okay, so I'm hearing 2 distinct anomalies. This, right here, that's what a carrier sounds like. That's usually what an escort carrier sounds like. And this is obviously something bigger. I don't know if it's like a cruiser or maybe a battleship, maybe a fleet carrier. I feel like if they have an escort carrier, they probably wouldn't have a fleet carrier, but that's at 320 and about 310. So if I look here, 320 and 310, I'm not sure which of these lines it is. Probably this one right here. Yeah, I'm assuming this line would be kind of what those big boys are sailing on. So that means our straight run should probably only be about 2,500 meters. I guess I'll just fire all 4 of our fats right at those, like 2 at each of them, basically. And we'll see how that goes. We're still at 24 meters. I'm not going to go to periscope depth. I'm not going to look through the periscope. I'm literally just going to listen on the hydrophones. And when those big guys get to about like 350 and 340, I will fire the torpedoes. I'll just open the tubes and fire. I'm not going to use really the periscope at all, except to guide the TDC. Alright, so we've got definitely a carrier at 330. I think we're gonna fire because our other target, this one, is at about 350. So I'm gonna fire a couple at like 355 here. Actually, I should fire at the carrier first because it's farther away. Maybe about 338, 337. Turn the periscope. Open tube.
Rohr 3, los!
Fire.
Alles dem Wasser!
2, 4. Maybe about a degree off.
Rohr 4,
Fire.
los! Alles dem Wasser!
And where's this? This guy's like dead ahead. 2, 5.
Rohr 5,
Fire.
los! Alles dem Wasser!
And then right at 0, I will fire this other one.
Rohr 6, los! Alles dem Wasser!
And I think I'll just fire the other 2 at whatever sounds like the highest concentration. So, no, still about a little over 0. Fire you.
Rohr 1, los! Alles dem Wasser!
And about 345.
Rohr 2, los! Alles dem Wasser!
Okay, so we are going to crawl down deeper now.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin! Derzeitige Fahrt 1, Knoten, neuer Kurs 9-0. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin, neue Tiefe 1-7-7.
Alright, so let's have a look. We are right here. Torpedoes went off somewhere in this direction. Oh, you can see the trail. These are the 7As. So they're gonna go a ways and they will turn around. Oh, yeah, it looks like they're on track for the escort carrier here. I don't know if that's like a Bogue or it's the other one. I don't remember. Which means in front of this should be whatever the bigger thing was. Okay. Looks like a Revenge or Oh, it's actually Russian. Huh. So I guess they've either seen a trail or they've heard us. I kind of doubt they've heard us, but I'm sure someone spotted a trail. And now they've got their searchlights on. Um, Probably should have been about, like, no more than 3 minutes to hit these guys. Okay, there we go. Hit him on the bow. I guess the other one missed then. Looks like a pretty critical hit though. That got a fire. Maybe the magazine will go off. I'm not sure. And I guess we must have missed this carrier. So if we look now at the torpedoes, they're still going. Um, these two, I guess, won't. Well, one of these will be the fat, the one that missed the battleship. These two are the ones we fired at the carrier, I believe. So they'll start turning around pretty soon. Since I believe they missed the carrier, they'll run that 3,200 meters, and then they will start doing their ladder pattern. So I'm sure they'll hit something. It's unfortunate we can't just like observe them zipping around because you can actually see their trail. So, if we're using the external camera, you can see them changing direction and hitting other targets, which can be pretty cool. But I guess I'll use some time compression and we'll kind of see it this way. So here's one that's turned around.
Derzeitige Tiefe 3,0.
I don't have high hopes for that one, but these two I'm sure, yeah, you can see they're splitting off in different directions now. And they'll just kind of run and hopefully hit something. Here's one of our straight runs that we fired. Not the most engaging thing watching this all on a map, but I'll just speed things up a little bit. So that one missed as well. These guys are just gonna go. That must have been the back of the convoy, I guess. So the one that's running that way, that was kind of a dumb move. It's not gonna hit anything. So, oh, okay. One just hit. I guess I'll just cycle through. Here's us. Looks like some American escorts. Oh my. Okay. That battleship is gonna be going down. If it's not already going down. Screws are still turning, but like it looks like the exact same model they use for the British Revenge class. So I don't know why it's got a Russian flag. There she goes. See you later. One torpedo. That's all it takes, I guess. You don't see that every day. 1944. You really don't tend to see capital ships all that often after, like, 1942.
Derzeitige Tiefe 8,0.
Satisfying, though. Okay, I'd like to know what else we hit. Not the carrier. We did hit something with that other fat. I'm happy to just break contact and slink away. I don't really care about taking another run at this or finding a limping ship. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what we hit with that other torpedo. In fact, it might have been the same battleship that we hit with the first torpedo. So let's see what that was. Yeah, Revenge class. I have no idea what the historical context is there. Like, did the UK lease their old battle cruisers and battleships to the Soviet Union? I don't know why it had a Russian flag, but it did. 31,000 tons for one torpedo, not bad. Then again, we did miss 4 torpedoes, as a matter of fact. And the other one, I'm not sure what we hit, but I'll update you if anything else pops up that we were sinking. All right, thanks for tuning in. That about does it for that run. I know it wasn't the most ideal viewing settings, and can't really showcase fat torpedoes in a storm like that, but as you could see, we didn't aim through the periscope at all. We just let them run, and unfortunately, only one of the ladder patterns actually turned around and ended up hitting something. But we were basically firing at the back of the convoy. So when you're using the ladder pattern, you want to fire at the front or even the middle, and then you can set your legs to go off in whatever direction you want. But if you're firing at the back of a convoy, obviously don't have your legs going the opposite direction of the convoy like I had. But you can see how it works. I mean, if people really care about fat torpedoes, I can do a better demonstration later, but I think for the purposes of this video, it's fine. So thanks for watching. Um, I'll probably come up with some other ideas later, but as far as tutorials go, I'm not really sure what else I can really do. The TDC is the most um, complicated thing, and I feel like I've covered that fairly well. So yeah, I might just post videos of interesting things here and there, but that's otherwise all I have to say.